Yizzo, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in, so let's get right into it. And you already know what time it is, man. Drako the Ruler. Drako the Ruler. We back on top of it now. You know, word is, the investigation on Drako the Ruler's murder is at a standstill. It has hit a wall. You know what I'm saying? They're saying that witnesses are not cooperating. You feel what I'm saying? And you know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. It's multiple different angles. We coming from multiple different angles. And as we all know, Drako the Ruler had business with Death Row Empire Records. Matter of fact, let me say that again because I said it wrong. Drako the Ruler had business and was in bed with Empire Death Row Records. It's a fact. We already know. You feel what I'm saying? And just like multiple other artists under Empire Death Row Records, Drako the Ruler was murdered, lost his life. You feel me? And was recorded, bleeding from his whole face. You understand? After he was stabbed in the neck. Now, you know, the police are at a standstill. The guys, the people, the witnesses, they are not cooperating. This is just as easy as saying, hey, gang violence. And I told you guys about this. I told you guys about the tactics. This is how they get away. This is how they get away, because they're looking for the witnesses to say something instead of investigating deeper, instead of looking up. They pointing at the witnesses. They pointing at whoever instead of looking up. You understand what I'm saying? Now, I told y'all before, you understand, Drako the Ruler was not a super major artist, but he was definitely a high risk artist. He was definitely an artist that was gang affiliated, had a lot of gang activity, you know what I'm saying, had a lot of bad information over his head as far as murders and, jail. And, he would be one of the artists that, would be the last to be invested into. He would be last because he's probably going to be a bad investment. He's probably going to mess up the money. But once they learned how to sell that death, once they learned and they tweaked and they critiqued it and they got it damn near perfect on how to sell death, oh, now we run towards the high risk artists. We run towards them. We throw money at the high risk artists. And then we pull them policies. We pull them policies. So when you dealing with the higher ups, when you dealing with the elites, it's way more easy just to say, hey man, we at a halt, we at a standstill. Hey man, we can't figure this out. Hey man, we'll figure out where Bin Laden is hiding, but we can't figure out who killed Drako the Ruler. We can find Bin Laden, we can find Pablo Escobar, but we can't figure out who shot Young Dolph. You understand me? But it's because they don't want to figure it out. That segues me into another angle, because it's multiple different angles here at Grown Man Business TV. Multiple different angles. Multiple. Feel what I'm saying? Like I said, man, consistency is key. And when you look through all of these different artists and all of these different situations, what you will realize, what is most consistent is that they get murdered in broad day or night. And it's the hardest thing for the authorities. It's the hardest thing for the authorities to ever find the perpetrator, the person who actually did it. It's like when it comes to these artists that are tied in with those people, you understand what I'm saying, and get murdered, it's the hardest case to ever solve. You understand me? And that's because they're all in bed together. The FBI, your local police, the higher ups. You understand? The higher ups, the elites, they're all in bed, they're all in cahoots, because once the bread is sprinkled down, once your pockets are greased, once you've been taken care of, you're now in the loop. If they get caught, you get caught. So what you will notice is everybody on the ladder is protecting the higher ups. They're protecting somebody. And that's why the The perpetrators are never caught for the most part. Or it's always a fall guy. Somebody that, you know, hey, he was messing with my baby mom, so I killed him on the interstate. It's always a fall guy. That, you know, it gets deep, man. It's deeper than rap. It's deeper than the obvious. It's deeper than what you think and what you think you see, what's being presented to you through the news, through the content creators. It's so much deeper. You know, and let's just say if this was you, let's just say you was that artist. You would want somebody to dig in. You would want somebody to look past the BS. You would want somebody to look up. That's what you would want. The higher ups and the elites, Geppetto, the puppet masters. You understand me? And I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds cliche. I know it's hard. It's hard for you to digest this, being as though that you are sheep. The majority of you guys are sheeple. You've been led your whole life. You understand me? If it was by your teachers, if it's by your boss, your employer, you've been led. If it's by your taxes, somebody doing your W-2s, you've been led. But when you a free thinker, when you a boss, when you able to do 1099s or whatever, you think a little bit different. You see a little bit clearer, and you can see past the smoke in the mirrors. Drako the ruler was killed amongst hundreds of people, amongst hundreds of security. I mean, at a live concert, he was murdered, stabbed. And you're literally telling me that there's nobody, there's nothing, there's no evidence. We are at a standstill with the murder that happened in front of hundreds of people. We are at a standstill. You understand me? You know, I know it's hard, man, but you got to follow the leader, or leaders, plural. You understand me? Because I'm definitely one of them. You understand what I'm saying? So everybody know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Look, I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap in to this grown man content at all times. At all times, straight off the brick into the bottles, straight off the brick into the bottle, straight raw, pure, uncut, nothing stepped on, no extras, no preservatives. We ain't dressing nothing up, and we ain't sugarcoating nothing. We giving it to you straight raw. Feel what I'm saying? And yes, man, you know, Drako the ruler's murder has hit a wall. It is at a standstill. How is that? You know, we pay all this money in taxes for these, you know, these law enforcements. The feds, you know, the CIA, you know, we pay for all these. These are public servants. They are all public servants. And somehow they are always having a problem serving the very people that pay them. He's killed in front of hundreds of people, and somehow the investigation is at a halt. That's because the elites and the higher ups have to be protected. They have to be protected. You understand? At all costs. At all costs. So listen, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you can tap in and you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Gang.